It is your classic metal show right here on the classicmetalshow.com. It is a special edition of the CMS here on a Thursday evening. Not a momentous occasion, a very sad occasion for those of you who are fans of classic metal, blues rock, whatever you want to call it. As Chris and I wanted to commemorate and remember the life of Great White lead singer Jack Russell as he passed away this afternoon.
Dude, what a bummer. I mean, you text. I wasn't aware. I have not really been online really most of the day, and then I get the text. I get a text from you and CMS Mikey at the same time, the exact same time, and I was like, "Uh-oh, something must be up that you guys are both hitting me." So I picked up my phone. I was like, "Oh my God, it's not unexpected, but man, you just don't want to see it."
Right.
You just don't want to see it.
Giving credit to CMS Mike, he actually called me and said, "You were the first person I thought of. Jack Russell passed away." And
Yeah.
it was not, it was not a surprise to me. I was tipped off about his decline in health about a month ago, and was told that he was in hospice care and he didn't have very long to live. And so I tipped you off and our good friend Sal, or at least my good friend Sal, about it, and told him when the announcement comes, don't be surprised.
Right.
Because I was told by Jack's guitarist that he was not doing very well about a month ago when I saw him at the Four Winds Casino in New Buffalo, Michigan. So he tipped me off to the fact that that an announcement would be made soon because of his declining health.
And we knew it. I mean, we called it out a few months ago when we saw that just horrific video of him being near death, but on stage, it just, you could tell it was coming. And then obviously the admission of it, 3 weeks ago or a month ago, that he had the dementia,
Lewy body dementia.
Yeah. I mean,
it was almost a month ago today. Today's the 15th. It was announced on the 17th of July. So almost a month.
Yeah. So he was falling fast, as Testament once said, but good Lord, man, dude, every time one of these happens, and I don't want to diminish Jack from anybody else, but just in general, every time this happens, it takes me back to something me and you started saying, I would say 15 or more years ago, which was, you better go see these guys while you can, because they're going away.
Right.
And man, oh man, today's one of those, no secret for me, I've never been a huge Great White fan. I know you are a big Great White fan.
Yep.
But that doesn't diminish the guy. The guy, Jack Russell, could not have ever been nicer to me, personally. He was always super, super nice to me. I've told the stories on the show about him going out of his way to be helpful to me, even though he knew I wasn't a huge fan of what he did, but just a great guy. And it's just a bummer it's a bummer that, yet another one dies young. Was he 62, 63, something like that?
63.
Yeah. So man, just a bummer, man. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, obviously for his friends and family, it's much sadder than that. But for us as fans, it's just a very sad day. We lose another piece of our soul when we lose guys like Jack Russell that were a piece of our life for the last 40 years.
Yep, absolutely. And, I had a personal friendship with Jack. I mean, he obviously was very tied into the Dokken camp because they shared Don produced their first record.
Right.
When they became Great White from being Dante Fox.
Right.
And Don basically discovered them, and they were a garage band. And he produced their first record.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very close. Don and Jack were very close all the way through these years. And Great White often played with Dokken on many occasions. So I would run into Jack quite a few times over the last 30 years.
Sure. And I mean, not even that long ago, they were close enough that not even 6 months ago, I know there was video out there of Don popping up on Jack's stage or Jack popping up on Don's stage. You know, I mean, they were friends. They definitely performed together for the entire 40 years. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's just a bummer. I don't know what else to say. It's weird. I'm the one that was like, screaming, let's go live. Let's talk about it. Now I'm just like, what more is there to say? It just sucks. It just sucks.
I agree. I completely agree. Again, I knew this was coming. I didn't know when. I knew it was going to be soon. After I was given the news, I was told it wasn't going to be long. It could be any day. And it was basically 4 weeks. Is what
it's crazy.
It was 4 weeks.
Sure. Well, let me put the official statement on the screen here, and then we can read through that at least. This is from Jack's webpage, or his not webpage, his Facebook page. So it says, with tremendous sadness, we announce the loss of our beloved Jack Patrick Russell, father, husband, cousin, uncle, and friend. Jack passed peacefully in the presence of his wife, Heather Ann Russell, son, Matthew Hudko, cousin, Naomi Brashears Barber, and dear friends, Billy and Cheryl Palchik. Details of a public memorial will be announced at a later date. Jack is loved and remembered for his sense of humor, exceptional zest for life, and unshakable contribution to rock and roll, where his legacy will forever thrive. His family asked for privacy at this time. At the request of Jack and his family, please refer to KL Dolte at lemonsuckersstudio@gmail.com as a further point of contact on his behalf. So that's the quick and down and dirty statement that somebody put on the website, but just not what you not what you expected to see today, now is it?
No, not at all. But I was prepared. I saw Jack. The last time I saw Jack was in April in Texas, and he was wheelchair bound at that point,
right?
And very frail, very weak, but yet he, when I walked up to say hello to him, he reached up his hand and grabbed my hand, and as always, in his kind fashion, regardless of his current physical condition, he just said, "It's always so good to see you, my friend. I'm always so glad when you come out to the shows."
Yeah. He was always nice. I always was, and I know I've told the story before, but when he played at the the Hard Rock Cafe in Cleveland back when that was a thing, he welcomed me, and he knew I was not a huge fan. He just was like, "So glad that you came out, brother, and I got you this table," and he got me a table close to the stage. So
was this when he was doing his solo show?
I think it was his solo thing.
Yes,
yeah.
This was before I knew you. I was there as well. In fact, I have a photo of Jack and I at the Hard Rock.
Hey, I might be in the photo for all we know.
He was promoting, what was it, For You?
Yeah, the For You record.
Yeah. He was promoting that, and he was doing a solo promotional run at the Hard Rock cafes.
Yeah.
And, I was with him at that point, and I had known Jack a little bit just prior to that release. I actually met Jack during when they released the self-produced, self-financed record, Let It Rock.
Right.
And we just kind of struck up a friendship from there. In fact, he had been on the Classic Metal Show numerous times.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the show when I was still doing terrestrial radio at WSTV. In fact,
right.
I pulled this down off my wall just before we went live.
I'll put you on the screen here. Oh, look at that. Portrait Great White. Look at that. That's what, 99?
Yeah, that was Can't Get There From Here release.
Right.
So.
Right.
There you are.
There it is.
So that's been hanging on my wall for 30 years.
Look at that. And we'll continue, but unfortunately now when you walk by it, it's just a memory. It's not a, hey, that's my buddy. It's
right.
That was my buddy, and that sucks. And
sure.
I mean, probably the most unfortunate thing about Jack is always going to be that fire. That, some people blame him for it, some don't. I personally don't understand blaming him for it. At the same time, I could see that people that lost friends and loved ones and whatever would be mad at somebody, and they got to be mad at somebody. And I get that. But I always felt like that was the end of the Jack Russell fun guy. Seemed like all the torturous stuff of his life came as soon as that happened. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, of course. He became, well, for the longest time there, the name or the band Great White, they were almost like a pariah.
Oh yeah,
in the music business, and it was an unfortunate accident. It wasn't done with any malice. It was just it was an accident,
right?
And nobody can replace the lives that were lost, but accidents do happen,
right?
As unfortunate as it is, it happens, and that's not making light of the situation. It's just like how do you demonize the lead singer of a band who wasn't the one lighting pyro? He was just a performer, and that was part of their stage set. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, and I mean, look, it was at a time when all those bands were down. It was at a time that everybody was still trying to make the most of limited stage and limited ability. They were using sparklers instead of pyro. They didn't have pyro guys anymore. They didn't have big stages. They're playing a stage that's 20 feet across from side to side.
Yeah, just a small club stage.
And trying to make it fun for the fans with some sparklers and some stuff, and shit happened. And again, I don't want to turn this into retrying that. No, I'm just saying that it really is the point where you saw Jack took it way to heart.
Oh, he did.
And he never came out of that. Like, we did interviews with Jack 20 years later, and he always brought it up. He always, me and you both, I can remember times that me and you were interviewing Jack together, and we had talked ahead of the interviews and say, we're not going to talk about this. We're going to be the first interview not to talk about this.
Right.
And then Jack would bring it up because I think it wounded his soul. And I honestly, and I could be wrong, but I honestly think that that's where the rampant drug use and the rampant alcohol and everything else came from, was that the old adage of drowning out the pain sort of a thing. I think with Jack, he was one of those guys that really, really couldn't get past it. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I know that it wasn't long after, the fire that Great White was playing with Doc, and I had driven Dawn from Chicago to Burlington, Iowa, and saw Jack at the hotel, and he was basically just staying away from everyone.
Right.
And I went over to say hello to him, and he just stood there looking at me like he was staring through the eyes of the dead or something.
Mm-hmm.
He was just there, you know, and it was just, he just really had nothing to say.
Mm-hmm. And I had heard some stories. I don't know how true they are. Maybe you do, but I had heard stories that when Jack went into any club after that was a smaller club like that he had great trepidation to go into them because he always put himself back into that position again. And is this going to happen again? And, I mean, again, I'm not trying to say he did or didn't. I'm not trying to retry the fire thing. I'm just saying that this is a guy that took the weight of 100 people that died at an event that was in his name or in his band's name, and he wore that like a cape made out of bricks for the rest of his life. And it's very unfortunate. The whole situation was very unfortunate, and it's very sad that a guy that was a fun guy that entertained everybody. I mean, he just was a happy kind of, Great White was sort of happy music, really.
Yeah.
And
it's upbeat, just blue collar rock and roll.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that that one incident, as bad as it was, kind of overshadowed everything that the guy did before and after. It's just it's unfortunate because, and again, we say this all the time. It always happens to the nice guys.
Right.
It's never Vince Neil. It's never Bret Michaels. It's always Jack Russell, the guys that are truly nice guys, and it's just, it's a real bummer. You know, I don't know. I'm sure you are as well because you know him better than me. But I'm genuinely bummed. I'm genuinely like, man, that sucks. It just sucks.
Well, even in his most declined state, up until the last few months, that guy maintained such a powerful voice.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how how physically he was depleted, he still could belt out the tunes.
Yeah.
Remember, I think it was close, maybe it was 3 years ago already. I'm thinking 2 to 3. Yeah, I'm thinking it's 3 years ago already. Taylor and I were in Iowa, in Des Moines, Iowa, and we were backstage at this arena. And you know how big those hallways are going back to the dressing room areas. It's just a big cavernous hallway.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, he starts barking out lyrics that just echoed through that hall.
Right.
And I'm just like, holy shit. This guy, he didn't need a microphone. Just those cavernous halls just echoing his voice was just the whole, but Taylor and I just looked at each other. It's like, Jesus. Jack can really still bring it.
Yeah. Well, I know Kelly and I went and saw him right before the pandemic, I guess, on that Sirius XM tour, them and Nuff Snuff and Bullet Boys. And Jack came out and he was doing his thing. He was, he was running around the stage and spinning around and doing his shit and sounded really good. And then when we went backstage after, it was like, who is this old man? That's like almost crippled here.
Right.
It didn't seem like the same guy we were rocking out to not like 30 minutes earlier. He fought. He was a fighter to get up on stage, and he fought through the physical ailments that he had to do it.
Yep.
So
that's one thing about Jack. I mean, even up until probably 3 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, about 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, even at his worst, at his point to where he couldn't even walk to get on stage.
Yeah.
He felt that he needed to be there to perform.
Yeah.
And that's just who he was. He was just he just loved to perform. He loved to sing. He loved to perform. I mean, if you recount all the physical ailments that guy suffered for the last 15 years with perforated bowels and broken limbs and fucked up joints and he just soldiered on. He soldiered through to get to the show and put on a performance. And that's what I'm going to always remember Jack for, is the fact that he just loved to perform.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, honestly, I know we tooled on it pretty good, but he was on stage, 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was just a couple months ago.
Yeah, it wasn't very long ago. He was still, even though he was in terrible shape, he was still out there trying to put on a show. And admittedly it was tragic to see, but he wasn't quitting either.
Oh.
So
he he loved the fans and he loved to perform, and again, the guy was just a consummate gentleman, always with a good word. Like I said, over the 30 years that I was in association with Jack, never saw a bad day with that guy.
No.
Not in the times that I ever dealt with him face to face, or even just watching his interactions with other people. Never saw him piss off a fan or act like a prima donna rock star or anything like that. He was just a very humble guy.
Yeah, he never punched out anybody's mom like that awful Don Dokken.
Not at all, but It was a pleasure to know Jack. Sorry to see him go.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of Great White for decades, 40 years, and I'm just glad I had the opportunity to know him and know him, and see him perform many times.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed Great White quite a bit.
Yeah. It's a sad day, man. I mean, and not that I want to shift off of Jack necessarily, but what a day, huh? Jeez.
Yeah, I know you and I traded a few texts before we went live here,
Yeah.
and today was not a good day for celebrities.
No, you have Jack, then you have Peter Marshall. Peter Marshall dying. That's something,
Yes,
very big too.
98 years old.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that one you don't necessarily feel, I don't know. Do you think after 80 you just stop feeling sad when people die? I do. When
Well-
they're 80, I always look at 80 plus as, all right, got it all in. If you make it to 80, you got it all in.
Right.
So, I mean, 98, yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, he remembers the fucking Titanic sinking. I mean, come on. No, he doesn't remember that.
You ever notice that a lot of those stars from that era seem to live a long time?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Betty White. She hung in there till almost her 100th
Just
birthday.
under 100, yeah. I guess it's smoking those Luckies and drinking whiskey every day. I guess that was good for them back then.
Apparently so.
It was once we started worrying about, drinking almond milk and shit that we started dying in our 50s.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to live life,
Yeah, just got to go for it.
I mean, if you're, who knows when your day will come, you know? I mean, you do all the things that you think you should do to stay healthy. Obviously, you don't want to abuse yourself purposely,
No.
but, is a cocktail bad for you? I don't know. Is it?
Look, all those guys that were famous for drinking cocktails, they all lived to be old, you know. None of them died in their 50s.
No.
You know. So, I don't know. And then who's the other? Greg Kinn.
Greg Kinn. His life was in jeopardy, baby.
That's right. What was his other song? The breakup song?
Yeah, the breakup song.
Yeah, that was another one for him. Another one. And Greg Kinn, I think Greg Kinn was more like a regional guy that just happened to have one or two hits because of
he was from the
MTV,
Bay-
really.
He was from the Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah, and Jeopardy was one of those early, really shitty MTV songs.
Yeah.
Back when they didn't have any videos to use, and remember that with the church with the
That's
the
what
octopus or whatever.
say that was like one of the weirdest music videos ever.
It's so dumb, it's so bad. But if he would have come out even 2 years later, that video would have never even got on MTV. We would have never heard that song because it wouldn't have got to MTV. The fact that they had nothing, that they were spinning that between the Buggles and, and like Asia,
Right.
the fact that that's all they had to choose from gave Greg Kinn a career.
Sure.
So, it was, it was pretty funny, but, but what a day, huh? Geez, three major deaths all in the same day.
Yeah. Well, notable deaths. I don't know how major they are, but notable anyway.
Well, major to me as a pop culture guy.
Okay.
They're definitely. It's definitely not. That guy played, Triangle in one show for TSO.
True.
I mean, these guys all had legitimate careers.
Yeah, I agree. When you say major, though, I think about like
It's not Mick Jagger,
Well, that's major.
Yeah, Mick Jagger and Tom Cruise died today. That's okay.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not on that level, but I mean, look, as a pop culture dork, yeah, those are three guys that influenced my life pretty heavily.
Yeah. Well, I guess what took Greg Kinn out is that he was suffering from Alzheimer's.
Ugh.
So,
And that Alzheimer's, I swear, there's got to be just something for working your head too hard, and for the first 40 years, it just burns your brain out.
don't know what it is.
There's got to be something to that.
But one of the impending demise of somebody, you know, that I grew up listening to is the saxophonist for the band Chicago, Walter Parazater.
Right.
He's also got the Alzheimer's, and he retired from the band like 6 or 7 years ago. You know, so, you know, I'm always expecting to hear that he passed away.
Right.
So that's a bad disease, man.
Yeah, it is. And it seems to be taking more and more people. You know, it seems like you see as much of that now as you do heart attacks, don't you think?
Sure.
You do see a lot of dementia and Alzheimer's. And I guess they're sort of the same, right?
Yeah, it's in the same realm.
Same family of losing your mindness.
Yeah, more or less.
I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, you're here, then you're not.
Right.
You know, believe me. And I say that not to be an asshole, because my dad died of it. So, you know, my dad died of dementia. So, you know, I guess I can make the joke. I guess I'm allowed, but
you have that right.
Yeah, I have that right. I have that right since my dad died of it. But yeah, it does seem like it's more and more. But just a bad day. I really don't have much more to say on this.
I don't either.
Just a bad day.
It was you know, cool of you to you know, arrange this, that we could just jump on here real quick and
you
know, pass our thoughts along to, and our remembrances of Jack Russell, who was, again, one of the nicest people we've gotten to know in the music business. And you know, it's sad. I mean, the guy was basically only 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, who knows? That's not a given that you're still going to outlive him, my friend.
That's true.
You might die tomorrow in your car. You never know.
No, I know, but given his condition, when I saw him last, it was just like, dude, that guy's 3 years older than me. Oof.
Yeah, well,
wow.
He may be 3 years older than you, but he was 103 years of drug use older than you.
True.
He took a lot of drugs and a lot of booze.
Yep.
Again, not trying to diminish his death or anything, but the man, I mean, that is one thing that I'm always surprised about. And I still ask a lot of these guys that I interview the question, and they all say the same thing. When you ask those guys in the 80s who was the hardest partying band, they all say Jack Russell and Great White. They all say Great White. And that's saying something when you think about Motley Crue and, you know, that Wasp and all those guys that were out there. That Great White was the hardest partying band. It's like, ooh, wonder what they were doing. What were they doing that Guns N' Roses wasn't?
Well, they shared the same manager, Alan Niven.
Well, maybe he was their dealer. Who knows?
Ben, who knows? But one thing I'll leave you with, as far as another remembrance, one of the things that caught my attention was the humanitarian effort that Great White often displayed. Because I remember when I was living in LA during the 80s, they were playing a show at the Long Beach Arena, I believe it was.
Okay.
And they were doing the whole food drive thing where you could get in if you bring a can of food.
Okay.
Oh, I know Tesla did it too. Tesla also did the same thing.
Right.
But even personally, I witnessed it when Great White was playing in Cleveland, and I was a guest at the show. They were playing at Peabody's, and they were still touring in a full-size bus. And after the show was over, Jack invited me on the bus with the band, and we were just kind of hanging out. And as you're well aware, Chris, when some of these bands have a rider in the back after the show with all the food and all the drinks and everything that they want, usually it's a lot more than the band could ever consider.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And Jack and the guys in Great White wrapped up that food and brought it on the bus.
Right.
And then Jack told the bus driver to drive down into the kind of the shittier part of Cleveland.
Right.
And he got down into, I guess, what was considered the Skid Row area, where there were homeless people on the street.
Right.
Jack jumped off the bus with all that food, and started handing it out to everybody on the street.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then circled back around to the club and dropped me and my then girlfriend off.
Wow. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So I saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
It was like, it's like, let's go down in the, kind of a ghetto part of town.
Right.
Let's hand out this food. It'll just go to waste and we're never going to use it. So let's give it to somebody who can.
Exactly. No, that's very cool. That was very cool of them then. And I guess that is kind of does show who the guy was at heart. So
yep.
Good place to leave it.
I'll always remember that as long as I live. I just remember sitting on the bus and all of a sudden I felt the bus moving and I thought that they didn't realize we were still on the bus.
Right.
And I just got up real quick, like, whoa, wait, I got to get off. And Jack said, just sit down. We're just going to take a little short ride.
All right. Right
So
on,
it
man.
was good times. So
Yeah.
rest in peace, Jack Russell.
Yeah.
We are going to be missed.
Yeah, he will be missed. Well, I figure we'll wrap. I'll play a song from them, and I'm not going to be lame like every other tribute
Play
you're
the
about to
Angel
see in the
song?
next. No, I'm not going to
Play
play
the
the Angel
Angels?
song. You know damn well every other site is going to play the Angel song today, tomorrow, the next day. That song's going to get
Are you
3
going to
million
play
plays.
Wasted Rock Ranger?
No, I'm not. There you go. I could go that route, but no, I'm going to play the song that I think is the way that Jack would probably want to be remembered. I'm going to play Rock Me.
Okay.
That makes the most sense, right?
Perfect.
All right. So everybody, thank you, of course, for tuning in. It's definitely appreciated that you guys tuned in. Sorry that it was kind of a bummer edition of the CMS, but we'll end with that, and we'll see you guys on Saturday, right?
Yeah. And if any of you are out in the St. Charles, Illinois area tomorrow night, I will be out there to see Stephen Piercy along with Chris's co-anchor on his Chris Aiken Presents, Eric Ferentinos. So I will be in St. Charles, Illinois at the Arcada Theater tomorrow night for Stephen Piercy. So if you're out in that area and coming to the show and you happen to see me, come up and say hello. I'd like to meet you.
I wonder if you guys will talk about this news.
I'm sure we will.
I'm sure you will.
All right. All right. Well, we'll see you Saturday. I got stuff to talk about Saturday, and I know Chris always does.
Oh, yeah.
So, we have things to discuss. So hopefully we'll see you at 9:00 Eastern time Saturday night, right here. Same bat channel, same bat time.
That's right.
So here it is. It's Great White with Rock Me. So until Saturday, this is Chris along with myself, Neeley, and we're gone.
See ya.